Hello everybody out there, how are you doing? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review, and let's just get right into it. So you may notice that you are of course watching some beautiful, sweet, amazing gameplay of Metroid Prime. The original Metroid Prime, of course the Wii version running on the physical disc that I have, the special edition Steelbox physical disc I have for the Metroid Prime trilogy that was released on the Wii way back in 2009. And I'm just feeling the Metroid love so much right now, you guys. I can't even stand it. And of course, the little free time I have this week I've got like my parents and stuff visiting, in-state visiting and doing that whole thing. So I have very little free time. And right now, the only game that I want to play is Metroid Prime. And Metroid, and I'm going to, you know, complete this game, move on to Prime 2, move on to Prime 3. It's just, I can't stop feeling the Metroid love right now. With new Metroid games finally coming so soon, it's just so darned exciting. In fact, this may blow your mind, but I haven't even opened my copy of ARMS for the Nintendo Switch, which I of course did get on launch day. I do own the game, see, but what I've run into is I'm just so busy. I mean, I had so much going on launch day for ARMS. I've got my folks visiting this week, and I'm working all the time and doing all this crazy stuff, and it's like, you know, I'm just not into putting that game in yet because the little bit of free time, I just want to keep playing that beautiful Metroid Prime. Anywho, let's get into the topic of this video. What I wanted to discuss is the third-party game situation when it comes to Nintendo and the Switch. A fairly interesting and hotly debated topic since E3 has come and gone. And by coincidence, a couple of other fellow YouTubers and good friends of mine and all sorts of people actually have started a third-party conversation a little bit on YouTube with some really good videos that I've seen from a couple of people. Lots of conversation happening on Twitter, which is, you know, hey, always a good thing to see. People are very vehemently defending their sides and stances on stuff, and that's totally okay. By coincidence, I already had a video like this planned as soon as the spotlight ended, and this was just the time that it actually worked out for me to make this video and discuss it. So, Nintendo Spotlight was, in my personal opinion, absolutely excellent. I know a lot of Nintendo fans, and even just a lot of people in general, feel like they had possibly the best presentation of the show, which was really good to see. For example, the Kind of Funny channel, and those guys who I really like and enjoy, notoriously mostly Sony and PlayStation fans first and foremost, they pretty much all felt that Nintendo won the show as well. So it's really good to see both, you know, like the diehard Nintendo fans and the non-diehard Nintendo fans still be able to look at something objectively. Just like in the last few years, heck, I even can tell you the years that Nintendo has absolutely not won E3, including the last 2 years, for example. But despite how great I and many other people feel like Nintendo did with their presentation at E3 this year, there was certainly a humongous notable omission, and something that I also did discuss when I reviewed their Spotlight and still said it was absolutely my favorite show. And of course, that big omission is the third-party presence. There is not a lot going on right now with the third-party realm of gaming when it comes to Nintendo and the Switch. And for myself, going into the Spotlight presentation, into E3 in general, I discussed this even months ago, I wanted to believe that we would further see examples of Nintendo really working hard to bring the third parties back on board with their new console. I feel like we have seen the seeds being planted for that to happen ever since they first revealed the Switch back in October 2016. And I thought that we were going to continue to see that, and we saw Sega and Suda51 and some other folks show up in the January event. And it just felt like if Nintendo was going to kill it this year, one of the things they would do would show some really strong third-party support. And to be fair, there was third-party games present at E3. We saw stuff from Ubisoft, we saw stuff from Bethesda, we saw Rocket League and stuff coming to the Switch and all these things, and this is really great. Those are great titles, things I'm very excited for. I'll be picking up all 3 of those games, for example. But I think we all know that there's a lot more needed on the third-party front when it comes to Nintendo if they're really going to make up ground with how things have played out over the course of the last few years, and of course the last generation with the Wii U, where the Wii U did start off with fairly strong third-party support, if you want to call it that. We were getting kind of crummy ports that were kind of previous gen at that time for the most part, but there still was support coming from a lot of the big companies. And heck, one of my favorite games that I played so much when the system first launched was Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which was a fantastic port on the Wii U. I absolutely loved it, and I played it to death. I thought it was great. But what about the other big games? What about Battlefront 2? What about Overwatch? What about Dark Souls? What about Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy? What about new Call of Duty games? These are the things a lot of us start to wonder. Can we ever hope to see titles like these from the third-party companies coming to the Nintendo Switch? And I'm at the point where it's harder for me to answer that definitively yes or no. A couple of months ago, I would have said, yes, I think eventually we're going to start see games like that coming. I wanted to believe Kingdom Hearts would be a game we might see on the Switch. And to be fair, that still may happen. You never know. Nothing has been definitively said there. But it's looking less and less likely, I feel, after E3 and the fact that Nintendo and so many other third-party companies weren't able to talk about their third-party games coming to the Switch. Oh, I forgot about Sonic Forces, by the way. Randomly, Sonic Forces and Sonic Mania, some pretty cool looking third-party games that are coming to the Switch. But I do have to say, in the right here and now, in just the week following E3, I feel like right now, we're probably not going to see a lot of these games that we want to see. I mean, we've even already had confirmation that Call of Duty isn't coming to the Switch this year, which is both not surprising and a little bit surprising, because I was really 50-50 on that. I wanted to believe that there was a really good shot that it could come, but I was also thinking, well, I don't really know that I could see it happening this year. It just might not make sense, and I don't know. It just didn't feel like something that would happen. But then all these people started all these rumors about, you know, the Beanox team is supposedly porting the game behind closed doors, and guess what? That was confirmed by Activision to not be true, so we're not going to see that game. So I feel like for the right now, for the next year, probably until even E3 next year, guys, I don't think that we're going to see a lot of these third-party games coming. You know, we're not going to get Resident Evil 7, we're not going to get Final Fantasy 15. People are trying to get the new Dragon Ball FighterZ game to come to the Switch, and I sure as heck hope that that comes, because that game looks freaking incredible. Oh my god, I'm so excited for that. And I will happily play it on any of the other consoles I have available. Luckily, I can play any game that releases. I feel very fortunate, but a lot of games I would like to have on my Switch, and right now, the Switch is such an awesome, fantastic piece of hardware that allows us to take these games anywhere. I want a lot of these games on the Switch. That's why I'm excited to play Skyrim again, even though I played it 5 years ago, because I'll be able to take it anywhere. And I'm really excited for Steep. I wish we got information on Steep on the Switch. And Dragon Ball Xenoverse is coming, which is going to be really great. So, you know, there's the tiny little pieces moving around when it comes to the third-party situation. But I just think that it's going to be a while, guys. I think that we should be seeing third-party games on the Switch. I think that both these third-party companies should be seeing value in bringing their games to the Switch. And I also think that Nintendo needs to be working very hard to convince these companies that it's worthwhile to bring these games to the Switch. I mean, there's no one person or entity at fault, and there's no one person or entity that's absolved of any guilt here. Like, really, both sides should be coming at the situation and saying, we all see the gain, the net gain for both companies, both the third-party company and Nintendo, to bring, you know, XYZ title to the Switch. I mean, there really is nothing but good things happening there. And, you know, I made a tweet about this, too, in the days while E3 was happening. When it comes to a game like Rocket League, for example, that is a game that's going to make a lot of money on the Switch. And I'm really hoping that it can kind of shine a light on the situation for other developers that are maybe playing really coy when it comes to the Switch. And kind of it can maybe lead by example or be a trailblazer title to a degree to show, hey, you should bring your Kingdom Hearts and your Overwatch and your Dark Souls to the Switch, because a game like this, a game like Rocket League, look at how well it's done. I think that the Nintendo and the Switch gamer is going to eat up Rocket League, and I think which is a good thing, especially because it's very feature rich. It's the same price. It's got everything that the other consoles have, and it's even cross-network play with everyone but PlayStation, we all know. It's going to do really well, and I'm hoping that other companies can be like, wow, maybe we should start looking at the Switch and stop having our heads up our butt and not be paying attention to what's happening there. And again, going back to my previous point, Nintendo needs to also be working hard to court these developers. Now, to be fair, my last point here, Reggie did say, he was quoted during E3 as saying, and I'll paraphrase here, but he basically said, we do want all of the relevant, important third-party titles to be available on our console. We want them on the Switch. It's important to us. We do care. We know the gamer cares and wants them. So, Reggie speaks from a desire from Nintendo's perspective to have these games, but obviously there's some sort of roadblock present. Whether that roadblock is the, you know, power under the hood of the Switch, whether it has to do with their lack of faith in the Nintendo gamer to pick up the consoles, whether it's whatever weirdness with Nintendo's online network it is, you know, all the above, none of the above, something seems to be preventing games like Destiny and Battlefront and Call of Duty, as of right now, in just the launch year of the Switch, something seems to be preventing those games from coming. And it's a shame. It's really unfortunate to see. I am a huge fan of third-party games. You guys know that. I play so many third-party games on my PS4 and my Xbox One, and I love those consoles for that reason. Yes, Nintendo's my favorite company, and I am a quote-unquote Nintendo fanboy. I'll freely admit it. I don't mind admitting that. but I open my arms to all gaming experiences. And I mean, the last 2 years in a row, a Nintendo game wasn't even my favorite game of the year. Maybe even 3 years. I'd have to double check my numbers there. But, you know, I mean, I love all the stuff happening in the gaming industry, so I want these games to show up on my Switch. The Switch more now than ever, because again, when I get a third-party game I'm very excited for and want to play, the fact that I can take it anywhere is the game changer. Like, I still love playing games on my PS4 and Xbox One, but I'm feeling less and less excited about being always tethered to my TV, which sounds weird because that's the way you game, but Nintendo has completely just freaking karate chopped that idea in half, because all of a sudden, the game has changed, quote unquote. We can now consider taking games possibly anywhere. Sometimes it's just in bed or into the next room to play, for me, to play on the couch in my living room as opposed to in my game room, which sometimes I can do with my Switch while my girlfriend is doing something else, and it's been great. And I would love to be able to take, like, you know, like a Dark Souls game or what have you, all these games I've listed, to my couch as opposed to have to be stuck in a separate room. So that's what's going on when it comes to the Nintendo third-party situation with the Switch, as I see it. This is just my perspective and my 2 cents. I think that right now, you guys, it's probably going to be a while before we see third-party games. I think for the long term, that eventually certain types of titles that we want to see will start to come to the Switch. I think that a lot of third-party developers that have been shy are now seeing the success and now seeing the gain, and like I said, a game like Rocket League might even further convince them that there is a market here to make money on, and they might start to bring their games. They might be starting development or porting cycles right here and right now in the wake of E3, so that by 2018 and 2019, we start to see more third-party games coming. Because I do believe Reggie and Nintendo, when they say that they care, when they say that they want these games, they know the gamers, us, want to play them on the Switch, and so I think they're trying, but they just might not have been as successful as we at first thought. And now everyone's going to kind of start to come together and start to make up, and maybe we'll see that stuff. But I wouldn't hold your breath for anything soon, you guys. I feel the next year is still going to be the Nintendo first-party show, which, I mean, hey, we're already used to that anyway. And I think that that's what we're just going to have to enjoy. And it doesn't really matter because, honestly, Nintendo is killing it with software. There's so much stuff coming to the Switch between now and the end of the year, and I think 2018 is even going to continue, even without the likes of Call of Duty and Destiny and whatever. I mean, I'm not, like, worried about the Switch without third parties. I think everything is going to be completely okay, but it'll be really great to see those games start to come, if in fact they do, like I want to believe they will. So that's what's up. That's my 2 cents and my perspective here. Tell me what you guys think about this. Are you angry about the third-party situation? Do you not care about third parties? Do you think that eventually they'll come, or do you think they're never going to come? Do you fall in line with my theory where it's probably going to be a year or a year and a half before we start to see this stuff pan out? Let me know what you think. Always curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Thanks so much, as always, for tuning in. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I will catch you next time on another video.